coming up on Focal Point. MSU is faced with another lawsuit.
An MSU Broad professor who held classes in this building is under investigation.
Red dresses scattered across the college campus? It's not something you see every day. Find out what they all mean coming up. And how can you make sure you have the luck of the Irish? By following some new laws. We'll also take you live to a place where spring has already sprung. All of that, the weather, and sports, Focal Point starts right now.
Good morning and welcome back to Focal Point News. Today is March 15th, 2024. I'm Yusuf Anaya.
And I'm Mackenzie Decker. This week we bring you stories on Women's History Month celebrations, how one restaurant owner is serving up second chances, as well as Michigan State's latest lawsuit.
What started as a business relationship between activist Brenda Tracy and Michigan State has now turned sour. After being hired to give speeches on sexual misconduct at the school, Tracy ended up accusing Michigan State's former head coach of just that. Now Focal Point's Karina Prieto tells us Tracy wants more justice.
It's been constant change for Michigan State students.
Instruction on campus is a little bit of a convenience.
Some of it is for the good,
but I am excited. The plans for it look really cool.
Some of it seems like a repeat of the past.
I'm not really surprised.
Lily is a transfer student and new to campus, but she's heard it all before.
And we are always in the news, so I have realized that.
Lily is talking about the latest headlines, that the university is getting sued again. In the midst of the 2023 football season, MSU's head coach Mel Tucker was accused of sexual misconduct by Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault survivor and activist. After investigation, Coach Tucker was fired and his $100 million contract terminated.
Just last week, Brenda Tracy filed an intent to sue not only Mel Tucker, but the university as well, claiming emotional distress, breach of contract, and invasion of privacy.
Not only is it Mel Tucker's fault, but I think a little bit of responsibility unfortunately falls on the university that maybe could have handled it a little better.
Jack Stager is a sports journalism major at MSU and has been following the story he calls troubling. Tracy is seeking $75 million in damages.
That is a lot of money, and I'm interested to see where that money is coming from and where she's trying to target that money.
Jack isn't alone. Tracy says 2/3 of it is for herself, and the other $25 million will go to her organization, set the expectation.
I think that's the right thing to do if she's really suing it for the reasons that she's saying.
Athletic Director Alan Haller did not respond to our request for comment, but this legal battle is far from over, as these are the first steps towards a lawsuit against the university.
That's not what Spartan Nation and Spartan family is about. So I think everybody's just ready for it to be put behind us.
On Michigan State's campus, I'm Karina Prieto, Focal Point News.
We reached out to a university spokesperson, but they declined to comment on the matter.
A lawsuit, a fired football coach, a revolving door of presidents, and now a professor under investigation. We take our attention from one controversy on campus to another. Focal Point's Tiana Barnes gives us the details.
It's ridiculous. It's insane.
Lately, Michigan State and controversy seem to go together.
After everything that happened with the shooting last year and Mel Tuck this year, I'm like, well, it is what it is.
And now, something new.
Yeah, it was so shocking.
MSU Broad professor Dr. Iskander Irfan has been charged with 3 counts of possessing sexually abusive material involving a child.
Most of my classmates had no idea what happened at all.
Junior Evan Wicker had a class with Irfan this semester.
Yeah, he was my financial modeling professor.
But after spring break,
as soon as someone found out about the news, we instantly got an email saying, class is canceled Monday, we'll see you Wednesday, new professor.
Evan says there was no conversation.
I think it's insane that we just swept it on the rug, act like nothing has ever happened, because I feel like Michigan State does that a lot.
With so many controversies and scandals surrounding the school, it's easy for students like Evan to feel like problems are swept under the rug. But university spokesperson Emily Garant tells me there's more moving parts to the process than you might think.
So some days I'm contacted about a situation I am already aware of.
But this
caught many people by surprise.
Garant wants students to feel as informed as possible.
And we do have a commitment to sharing whatever information we can at that time. It's not always all the information, or we don't know all of the information.
Evan feels it's not enough.
I think Michigan State really, really covered it up.
And for sophomore Faith Brown,
Oh, another thing. Cool, 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 cool.
the controversies surrounding MSU have been overwhelming.
I think we're kind of like, we're becoming desensitized to it.
Desensitized, yes, but still hopeful that the place they call home can redeem itself.
Because I love this school, and I hate that all the things that has been happening, but it's just, they're doing their best. And
On Michigan State University's campus, I'm Tiana Barnes, Focal Point News.
Airfin is currently on administrative leave. He appeared in court on Tuesday morning and will return for a preliminary examination on April 2nd.
The Board of Trustees have also been under investigation since the fall semester, and now a 63-page report is out. Focal Point's Ethan Hunter has details on what you need to know about the findings, as well as what students have to say.
The MSU Board of Trustees has been surrounded by controversy since October, when then Chairwoman Rima Vassar was accused of inappropriate conduct. Trustee Brianna Scott published a letter accusing Vassar of accepting private flights and courtside basketball tickets from a company that does business with the university. But all trustee news doesn't seem to be in the front row of students' minds.
I have not heard a lot of people actually talk about the trustees. I keep seeing just email updates about what's happening around campus, but nothing really.
I haven't seen it on social media or shown anywhere to students on campus.
It doesn't end with accusations. There's also an investigation. It finds that Vassar and trustee Dennis Deneau violated board bylaws by convincing students to embarrass former interim President Woodruff. The independent firm investigating recommends the members be referred to Governor Whitmer for corrective actions. Dr. Vassar has resigned as chair of the board.
My day-to-day hasn't really changed regardless of the whatever they passed.
I don't really keep up to date with it. If I get an email about it, I don't even read the email. It's kind of just, if it's not directly affecting me as a student and my time here, I'm not really bothered by it.
In East Lansing, I'm Ethan Hunter.
Far too long. Why do student board members and certain administrators?
Trustee Vassar will continue to serve as chairperson until a new one is appointed, and Governor Whitmer has not yet announced her plans for the 3 new trustees.
At first glance, it might look like an outdoor closet. Have you seen them? About 60 dresses hanging around campus. This is Women's History Month, and the meaning behind all those dresses is much deeper than a walk-in closet. Who's all behind it? I had the chance to find out. The walk to class on the Michigan State campus.
I thought it was very unique, and I was intrigued by it.
Just got a little more colorful.
When I noticed them, I didn't really know what they were for. I was surprised to see them.
It's called the Red Dress Project.
We actually put out a call for volunteers to come and help hang up the dresses.
And each dress symbolizes a deeper meaning.
The artist chose red because in the indigenous culture, red is a very spiritual color.
It's a project aimed at honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
This is not an issue that is typically at top of mind, so to bring it to people's attention in a visually impactful way.
It's not something students understand at first glance.
You see a bunch of dresses and then they're red. I just feel like it's more like, whoa, that's there, you know?
But the dresses catch people's eye just enough for them to want to learn more.
It made me read the sign, so probably other people read the sign and got some info on it.
About 60 different dresses hang here, raising awareness and piquing curiosity.
An art installation is something that's hard to ignore and much more powerful than to look at statistics.
They could know a little bit more than they did before, which is always good.
On Michigan State's campus, I'm Mackenzie Decker, Focal Point News. You still have a few days to walk the exhibition. It runs through March 17th along West Circle Drive on campus. I was told that after the exhibition is done, all the dresses will be packed up and shipped to another location. They've been to 50 different locations so far. That's incredible, Mackenzie. Next time you find yourself walking through that area, be sure to think about all that it symbolizes as well as the impact it has. And speaking of Women's History Month, Focal Point's Callie Neese found a local female entrepreneur who wants to help everyone show their inner glow on the outside.
So here at Glow by Gracie, we are doing custom airbrush tans.
Gracie Perrault is a businesswoman.
Expanded into kind of like a shared workspace type concept where it's all catered towards beauty and wellness.
She owns a shop called Glow by Gracie.
Yeah.
Okay. She says the glow comes from tans and teeth whitening, and even eyebrows.
Just loved all the fun that it brought.
Gracie is not new to the business, so when friends her age played with dolls, played with toys, she was playing with spreadsheets.
I've been a business owner ever since I was actually 12 years old, so I've just kind of dipped my hands in a lot of different areas.
She started an event planning business for kids.
Sky's the limit, people say that, but it's true.
People all over mid-Michigan walk into Glow by Gracie feeling a little pale and kind of sad. And they walk out with a whole new glow.
I think curing seasonal depression, that's a huge thing that everybody, like spray tans are just all the rage right now.
Gracie's custom tans may be where she ended up, but her humble beginning is what inspires her and what she hopes to inspire others with.
To ask for help, whether you're in business or whether in life, I think that's just also a message that's been on my heart recently to share with other people.
In Okemos, Callie Neese, Focal Point News.
Gracie's first brick and mortar store is now open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 for all your glowing needs.
Now, we had a real taste of spring last week, but true to Michigan, those temperatures are right back down to the cooler area. But we know where spring is.
We know exactly where it's 72 degrees and where the plants are blooming, and it's all inside the Michigan State Pavilion. Tiana Barnes is live at the home garden. Tiana, you look extra springy today.
Yes, thank you so much, Yusuf. I'm here at the Lansing Home and Garden Show at the MSU Pavilion. You can kind of see people trickling in. There's been a line to the back wall since 10:30 for people just waiting to get in here. There's everything here for everyone, from hot tubs to hobbit huts and even landscaping. Which, speaking of, I'm here with Michael Stevens, owner of Landscape Development. And if I understand correctly, you're the longest running exhibit here, right?
Yes, 28 years.
And what keeps you coming back every year?
This is our whole advertising budget for the last 28 years. This is what we do. We like to get in the face of people and show what we can do.
And so, what is it? I just have to ask, what does it take and how many people and how many hours did it take to get something like this set up? It's super elaborate.
It's crazy. 3 days of just fast and furious building, long hours, 6 a.m. to like 10 at night, and then months of planning prior to. But yeah, it's a good time. It's what we do.
Thank you. Well, I'll let you get back to the show. I definitely can tell that a lot of hard work has gone into this exhibit. I mean, look at this. There's a working waterfall and tulips. And next we're joined with Carolyn Alt, the show manager. Carolyn, how are you today?
I am great. It's a great day at the show.
And how long have you been involved with the show?
Oh, 27 years.
So you've seen it all.
Time. I have seen almost all of it. Yeah.
All but one.
Yep, all but one. That's right. Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about the difference between the earlier shows that you've experienced and this year's?
We're bigger. Get a little bit bigger every year, but what is different from year to year is really where we rely on the vendors, and so it's just whatever's the trend. You know, there are products and services that were popular 27 years ago that people don't do so much anymore. Changes in cabinetry and kitchen design, those sorts of things, but it's a staple to the community. So the thing that never changes is that the crowd comes out and they love it. It's a perfect time of year for people to get excited about home improvement projects. We kind of think we like to make boring home improvement projects fun. So you can come out to the Home and Garden Show and have a great time and get a new roof on your house.
I definitely think that I didn't think that cabinets and hot tubs and all this could be that exciting, so I think you've met your goal.
Yes.
How many vendors are roughly involved in the show this year?
There are just over 250 different businesses that are part of the show, and they are all local businesses, so we take pride in that. We work with folks that are right here from the mid-Michigan community so that the homeowners know that these folks will be around, after the show to work with them, help them with their next project.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah. And before I let you go, I know we're still towards the very front of the pavilion, and there's so much more as you explore back. Yeah. But can you tell me, I know it's probably hard to pick a favorite, but what your favorite vendor areas? I had to ask.
Okay, it's like children. You can't have a favorite. What is my favorite is just the effort they all go into. I mean, I really don't have a favorite. There are so many that are spectacular, from the gardens to even just the vendor displays, the cabinetry displays, roofing, siding. You'd be amazed at the artistry that can go into just a regular booth for, a moving company or exterior home improvement company. And that's what I love. I love to see them all put their heart and soul in it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for being here.
Thank you. The show runs until 8 p.m. today, and so you'll get a chance to walk through and maybe pick your favorite exhibit. But if you can't make it today, tomorrow from 10 to 8, and then last day will be Sunday from 10 to 5. I don't know about you guys, but this show has really got me excited for the warmth and the spring weather this year. Yusuf and Mackenzie, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tiana. Mackenzie, I think it's time we start prepping for garden season after that.
For sure.
But coming up after the break, a local restaurant is giving people a second chance.
And find out why your commute to campus might take a little longer than usual.
In Focal Point's Michael Savrinsky has the weather for your St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
And speaking of those St. Patrick's Day celebration, here's what it looks like right now, live in Dublin, Ireland, at the famous Temple Bar. Quite a scene. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Focal Point. This past week has been a bit of a hassle getting to campus, hasn't it?
Yes, and part of that reason, yet another construction project, this time on Trowbridge Road. And wait till you hear how long this one's gonna last. Focal Point's Sarah Polis has all the details on the bumpy ride.
This past Monday, MDOT workers filled up Interstate 496.
It's the next phase of the makeover of US 127.
To embark on a 3-year project.
Entire project itself is scheduled through 2027.
Over the last couple of years, drivers have dealt with traffic and crashes along the freeway, particularly during rush hours. Now, Michigan Department of Transportation is taking the wheel to improve 18 bridges to ease congestion, reline and widen the freeway, and induce reconfiguring interchanges.
I was not aware that it closed down as soon as it did, so I was forced to take Hagedorn, and that adds about 10 minutes to my route, plus more traffic because of the closures.
Michigan State University student Patrick O'Brien takes the Trowbridge Road exit home every day. But now that the construction has started, this is his detour.
Usually it takes me about 20 minutes to get home, but when they closed it down, it took about 40 to 45 minutes to get home.
In hopes to help with the traffic, MDOT Aaron Jenkins, the University Region spokesperson, says you may want to head out a little earlier than usual.
Just be patient. We're out there trying to make the roads better for you, and we'll do everything that we can to make sure it's as convenient for you as we can.
The project will cost $205 million from Interstate 496 in Lansing to an area north of Mason. As of now, there is no more information on what next is in store. I'm Sarah Polis, Focal Point News.
Well, it looks like I'll be leaving earlier for class for the rest of my time on campus, which is a lot shorter than how long this project will take.
Will we need hot coffee, or can we start transitioning to frappuccinos? Only one person can tell us, Mackenzie, and that's Michael Savrinsky, who we will find at the weather wall. Michael, which is it?
Well, Yusuf, we might have to hold out to switch into those Frappuccinos for another week. It looks like the Leprechauns are playing some tricks on us once again. Right when we thought we could get through another Michigan winter, those temperatures began to drop. But first, let's take a look at the national map. The Southwest is in the 70s with 75 in Sacramento and 70 in Los Angeles. A little chillier up in Seattle with 61, but a comfortable 64 down in Phoenix. In the East, it's cooling down with 48 in Boston, but don't worry because New York is turning up the heat with the temperature of 68. Now let's take a look at our regional map. Looking like a typical March here in the Midwest, low to mid 50s across the map, pretty stable temperature presented here. Little warmer over in Kansas City at 61, but other than that, we're stuck in that kind of limbo between winter and spring. Let's take a look at the 7-day outlook for East Lansing. Our warmest days will be today and tomorrow. Low 50s and partly cloudy. We're then going to see a drop into the low 40s and high 30s until Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday, the temperature will go back to the mid to high 40s. No rain projected this week, which is perfect for those celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Looks like spring is almost here, Spartans, so I'm going to go get a drink from Starbucks before it's too late. Of course, a hot one, that is. And that's all for weather. Yusuf, Mackenzie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. If you don't mind, I think I'll be joining you on that coffee run, maybe pick up some matcha for St. Patty's Day.
And speaking of St. Patrick's Day, it happens to be this Sunday. And even though the weekend won't be the most forgiving with weather, I think it's pretty safe to say that all Spartans will still be outside celebrating.
Yeah, and with that being said, one holiday trend could leave you at risk of receiving a hefty fine. Focal Point's Sydney Kenzer has more.
How do you feel about St. Patrick's Day? I'm excited. I mean, it is the Spartan holiday, so go green.
Very, very excited. My friends and me and my family are coming down and we're gonna party it up.
MSU students and St. Patrick's Day. It just makes sense. Last year, some Spartans celebrated by following a viral trend, the Blackout Rage Gallon, better known as a Borg.
I did the Borg last year. I actually ended up passing out at my guy friend's frat.
Have you ever done like the Borg thing?
Not on St. Patrick's Day.
But Spartans planning to bring back the Borg could face heavy fines. Lieutenant Adrian O'Hario of the East Lansing Police Department says open containers of alcohol, including Borgs, are illegal on public property.
And any open container of alcohol, by definition, is any container that has a broken factory seal, even if you've put the top back on. So, for example, if you buy a pint of alcohol at a liquor store, as soon as you crack the plastic seal and then step on public property, that's considered open alcohol.
The consequences for an open container violation could be a civil infraction or a criminal violation. The maximum fine is $500.
To $500.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm not getting a fine.
There are plenty of ways you can drink in this town without getting fined for it.
To stay within the law, Spartans planning to drink should do so at a liquor establishment or on private property, and only if they're 21 or older. In East Lansing, Sydney Kenzer, Focal Point News.
$500, Mackenzie, that's a lot more than I usually like to spend on a night out. But if you're celebrating this weekend, make sure to be safe and stay smart, Spartans.
They say that winning is one of the greatest feelings, and while losing, especially in sports, may be one of the worst, it also provides life lessons. Focal Point's Deshaun Johnson is here to show how a high school basketball team tries to take away some of those key life lessons.
The East Lansing High School basketball team stood on the same stage they did just a year before. 3 games away from a state championship in front of a sold-out crowd. Family and friends packed in. And even Michigan State basketball players showed up. Trojan fans and players alike knew what was on the line during this game. A win for the Trojans in this game would take them from playing in their high school gymnasium to the hardwood floors of the Breslin Center. But when the final buzzer sounded, there was no celebration on the Trojan side.
You know, they outplayed us tonight. Try to get it done next year.
After a hot season and a good start to the game, the Trojans had finally fallen. Or had they?
You know what? To me, it's not a fall, man.
Head coach Ray Mitchell sees it differently.
It's nothing, to me, it's not that, I mean, it's important, but it's not life-ending or anything. You know, it's just a lesson.
And while he wants his boys to be winners, life lessons is what he would rather his team learn.
It's not tough, it's just about being resilient, bouncing back, working hard, you know, guys moving on. And, you know, it's love, really.
His team may still need to fully understand his viewpoint, but they are learning.
Everybody around here, we're all just going to keep working and trying.
From East Lansing,
we're going to make it next year.
Deshaun Johnson, Focal Point News.
Although the East Lansing Trojans came up short in the quarterfinals, they were able to achieve their second regional championship in a row. And while the loss was tough, they are using it as motivation for next year.
And while the Breslin is being taken over by high school sports from all over the state, the Spartans are playing in their own respective tournament over in Minneapolis.
That's right, but they are not the only team plowing through the Big Ten tournament. Callie Neese is here live in the newsroom with sports.
Thanks, guys. Let me tell you, March is here, and there is a reason this is Coach Izzo's month. The Spartans took on the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the first game of the Big Ten tournament. The game started off slow. The Spartans down by 2 at the half, but with the help of the Green and White's Tyson Walker, the Spartans came home with the win, 77-67, the final. Sending some flowers over to the Spartans' top scorers of the day, A.J. Hogard with 17 points and 6 assists, Walker with 15 and 4 assists, and Jaden Akins putting up 9. So the name of the game right now is Survive and Advance. So the Spartans will be taking on the #1 seed, the Purdue Boilermakers. This will be a head-to-head revenge matchup game for the Green and White, who fell to the Boilermakers at home 80-74 earlier this season. That game has just tipped off. It's not just a Big Ten tournament weekend for Spartan hoops, but also for Michigan State hockey. They will be hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes for the second time in 3 weeks. The last time the Spartans took on the Buckeyes, they held the 4 seed, but ended up splitting the series. MSU fell to the first match with a score of 6-2, but they brought out their best for senior night, winning the second game of the series 5-2. And this sent the Spartans over to Madison, Wisconsin, where they took on the Badgers, where they claimed the Big Ten championship title for the first time in history. Now, this time around, the stakes are much higher for the Spartans, as the red-hot Buckeyes team is looking to spoil the Spartans' historic season. The name of the game is Survive and Advance. The Spartans take on the Buckeyes tomorrow at 6:30 right here in East Lansing at Munn Ice Arena in the hopes of advancing in the Big Ten Tournament Championship game, dreaming about bringing home even more hardware. Over on the women's side of things, MSU Gymnastics continues to have a phenomenal season. Starting tomorrow, the girls will step foot on the spring floor one last time before the Big Ten Tournament. Last week, the girls celebrated senior night, and they just did not celebrate with their family and friends. They also hit a season-high score of 198.105, winning the meet by an impressive 2 whole points. Tomorrow, they will travel down to Texas for their last quad meet of the regular season. The girls are currently ranked 8th in the NCAA and are expecting a great performance. Now, that's all we have time for in sports, but before we send it back to Mackenzie and Yusuf, the Spartans have just started their game over in Minneapolis. The winner of this game will make it to the next round of the Big Ten tournament in the hopes of improving their seed for the Big Dance. The game is set to start a few minutes ago, and the score is right now Purdue 13, Michigan State 7. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Callie. It's sure to be an exciting weekend here in East Lansing.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how it turns out. But back to the news side of things, a local Lansing business owner is dedicating his life to giving out second chances. Henry Meyer, owner of the Eastside Fish Fry, uses his past struggles as motivation. Megan Samp ordered the #3 combo and delivers a story with it.
We started with 3 fryers, now we got 10.
Henry Meyer uses life as a lesson.
I let that anger kind of ignite something inside you, and I think that's important. That piece right there.
Meyer ignited a stove. He opened the Eastside Fish Fry with no experience.
I don't like people telling me no.
12 years later, it's become an institution, one where famous folks drop by.
We were on the TV show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and that kind of changed everything. Man, you can't beat our chicken wings.
He not only reinvented his famous chicken wings, he reinvented himself.
Went to federal prison for like 3 years.
After serving time on a drug charge, he felt he needed to serve others.
Like people telling me no, I don't like, to this day.
He knows life can be hard after prison.
Henry Meyer would be the first to know what it's like to struggle, but he also knows the importance of a second chance.
He's dedicated his life to offering second chances. Just ask his 22 employees.
You know, where really I would be probably in jail or something crazy. So yeah, it's been good. Helped me grow, helped me learn a lot.
Out of my 22 people, I probably guess like right now, like 15 to 16 of them have either been to prison or in trouble right now.
Meyer doesn't think your past should define you.
There's other people out there like me that'll give you second chances. If you look around, if you look around, you will find a lot of places that hire felons.
Maybe none as delicious as the Eastside Fish Fry.
That's a walleye right there.
In Lansing, Megan Samp, Focal Point News.
Man, Mackenzie, those chicken wings sure look good.
Yeah, they do. I'm getting a little hungry. I might have to pick some up after this.
And Eastside Fish and Fry is planning on expanding in the couple months, as Henry Meyer and the rest of the staff are always looking for ways to offer a helping hand to the Lansing community.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of Focal Point. Have a safe and festive St. Patrick's Day, Spartans. I'm Mackenzie Decker.
And I'm Yusuf Anaya. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.